Democracy for Sale, the hidden cost of corporate power. Democracy for Sale reveals how the hidden costs of corporate power in Australian politics harm citizens and hinder fair reforms. Introduction: When democracy is for sale. Australians are increasingly feeling that corporations and lobbyists are drowning out their voices. Major industries donate millions to political parties, hire former politicians as lobbyists, and shape public policy to serve their own private interests. This system is often described as democracy for sale, where corporations shape policy for profit. Here lies a critical truth. In a sovereign currency nation like Australia, taxation does not directly fund government expenditure. The federal government can always spend in Australian dollars. Yet corporate tax avoidance still matters. It shifts the burden to small businesses and households, fuels inequality, and provides politicians with the false excuse to cut essential public services. The central question is straightforward. What is the full cost of corporate influence to citizens and to democracy itself? This article tracks the costs of democracy for sale and why reform is urgent. The problem: corporate power over politics. 1. Political donations, dark money, and democracy for sale. Corporate donations are one of the most powerful tools of influence. In the 2023-24 budget year, $67.2 million in donations to major parties could not be traced to a source, referred to as dark money. These untraceable funds undermine transparency and distort accountability. Australia's disclosure rules are weak compared to those of other democracies. Only donations above approximately $15,000 must be disclosed, and donations can be split between party branches to avoid reporting. In 2023-24, disclosed donations accounted for just 7% of parties' total income, leaving the public in the dark about the majority of political funding. 2. Lobbyists and revolving doors. Beyond donations, corporate power thrives through lobbying. Over 1,000 lobbyists are registered federally, many of them former politicians or advisors. This revolving door gives corporations privileged access to decision-makers. Transparency International Australia ranked federal lobbying regulation at just 17,100, tied second last nationally. Web source. Weak post-employment bans mean former ministers can simultaneously lobby their old colleagues, raising serious conflict of interest concerns. The impact: how citizens lose out. 3. Policy capture and everyday costs. The impact of democracy for sale is felt daily by Australians, from higher costs to weaker services. Corporate lobbying ensures that powerful industries shape policy outcomes in their favour. Mining. The fossil fuel lobby has blocked or watered down climate reforms for decades, despite worsening bushfire and flood risks. Gambling. Clubs and casinos resist reforms on poker machines, even as Australians lose billions each year and gambling addiction devastates families. Pharmaceuticals. Lobbying contributes to higher drug prices. Insulin and cancer treatments are still unaffordable for some households, pushing families into debt. This capture raises the cost of living, weakens protections, and puts profits before people. These examples show how democracy for sale hurts ordinary Australians. 4. Democracy distorted. Corporate influence doesn't just affect policies, it distorts democracy itself. When corporations gain a louder voice than citizens, ordinary Australians feel ignored. This fuels disillusionment, distrust, and apathy. Case studies. Housing policy. Developer donations influence planning laws and federal tax settings, favouring investors over renters. Water rights. Agribusiness interests capture water allocations in the Murray-Darling Basin, leaving communities and ecosystems vulnerable. The cost to ordinary Australians. 5. Financial costs. Corporate tax avoidance, protected by lobbying, does not limit government spending. Australia issues its own currency. But the effects are still significant. Shifts the tax burden onto households and small businesses. Fuels inequality by allowing corporations to accumulate wealth unchecked. Provides politicians with a false narrative that budget repair requires service cuts. The PwC tax scandal, in which secret government tax plans were leaked to corporate clients, illustrates how advisory firms can help corporations exploit laws they have influenced. Citizens, not corporations, carry the financial and social costs of democracy for sale. 6. Social and environmental costs. Citizens bear the broader costs of corporate influence. Underfunded services, hospitals, schools, and housing projects miss out on investment while subsidies flow to profitable sectors. Environmental damage. Weak climate action worsens extreme weather disasters. Inequality. Corporate capture entrenches privilege, leaving millions struggling while a few profit handsomely. International comparisons. 7. Lessons from abroad. United States. Unlimited corporate spending through super PACS has entrenched extreme political capture. Australia risks a similar path. Nordic countries. Donation caps, robust disclosure, and public financing of parties foster higher trust and stronger protections. The lesson is clear. Stronger rules can protect democracy, but only if governments choose people over donors. Without reform, Australia risks following the US down a dangerous path of entrenched democracy for sale. The solution: restoring democracy to the people. 8. Campaign finance reform. Introduce strict caps on donations. Real-time disclosure of all donations. Ban foreign donations entirely. 9. Lobbying reform. Enforce long cooling-off periods for ex-politicians. Publish a transparent register of all meetings with lobbyists. Empower independent watchdogs to enforce rules. 10. Dollar sovereignty and citizen power. Australia's monetary sovereignty means governments never need corporate donations or higher taxes to fund essential services. The real issue is political will. By rejecting corporate influence, governments can expand healthcare and education, build public housing, invest in climate resilience. Reform should include citizen assemblies on political reform, more powerful corruption watchdogs, public engagement in national budgeting. Frequently asked questions. Q1. Why do corporations donate to political parties? To buy access, build relationships, and influence legislation in ways that protect profits. Q2. What is dark money in Australian politics? Untraceable donations hidden by loopholes, such as splitting contributions across party branches. Q3. Does corporate tax avoidance stop the government from spending? No. Australia's sovereign currency ensures spending is never revenue limited. But avoidance fuels inequality, shifts burdens, and gives cover for austerity policies. This is why many economists argue that the real harm of democracy for sale lies in inequality and excuse-making. Final thoughts. Taking democracy back. Democracy should never be for sale. Yet corporate lobbying and donations distort policy, shield tax avoidance, and undermine equality. Australia's dollar sovereignty makes clear, funding essential services is never the problem. The real issue is a political class beholden to donors. Ordinary Australians pay the cost through higher inequality, weaker services, and declining trust. Reform is urgent if we are to end this era of democracy for sale and restore fairness. What's your experience? Have you seen examples of how democracy for sale has harmed your community, particularly through issues such as housing, healthcare, or climate policy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Call to action. We'd love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts through our reader feedback form, check out what others are saying on our testimonials page, or simply scroll down and leave a comment below. Your voice helps shape future content. Spread the word. Change starts with conversations. Share this article with friends, family, or your social networks so more Australians can see what's possible. Every share helps build momentum for a fairer society. Keep independent journalism alive. We are 100% reader-supported, no ads, no corporate strings, just honest, truth-driven journalism. If our work has informed or inspired you, we invite you to consider contributing. Even $5, or whatever you can spare, helps us keep publishing and reaching more Australians. Donate now, one time or monthly. Already donated? Share the love by leaving us a quick review on Google to help others find us. Engaging question. How would Australian politics look different if corporate donations were banned tomorrow? Suggestions. Without corporate donations, parties would need to rely on small contributions and public funding. This would weaken corporate influence, strengthen transparency, and give citizens greater confidence that policies reflect public needs rather than donor interests. References. Australia Institute, The Hidden Political Expenditure of Australian Corporations. Transparency International Australia, Behind closed doors, lobbying regulation in Australia. The Guardian, $67 million in dark money in political donations. Public integrity, closing the revolving door. Democracy for sale, game of mates. ABC Four Corners, democracy for sale.